Okay, folks, these are your first integrals of your AP Calculus career. So this lesson I think will feel pretty easy to you. We're just finding our integrals graphically. Okay, so remember the integral is the area under the curve, or underneath the graph, since this one is not particularly curvy. The area under the curve, and these we're going to do in a couple of steps. We're going to split the integral up. Find the area of each part. And then we're going to add them up. Okay, so let's start by looking at our bounds to figure out where we're looking, right? So what is the value of the integral from -3 to 9 of f of x with respect to x? So -3 is here. +9 is over here. Okay, so notice this zone we don't care about, outside of our boundaries. So we only care about the area between the two numbers written on the integral sign. And again, those are called our bounds. So remember, the integral is the area under the curve. So we have two triangles in this particular case. So what we're doing in this lesson, we're using your area formulas that you've known and used throughout your math career. Okay, so I've kind of split my integral up. Let's make it even more specific. So my original integral, is going to be equal to the integral from -3 to 4 plus the integral from 4 to 9. Okay, so that's what I kind of mean by splitting it up. So just to be clear, like left-hand integral is my first triangle, and then right-hand integral is my second triangle. Okay. What we will do is we will say our area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 base height. So let's see. We have a base of -3 all the way to 4 is 7, times the height is 4 units, times 1/2, plus base of 5 units, height of 3 units, times 1/2. Okay, so that is essentially our integral. And then all we have to do from there is add them up. So this ends up being 14 plus 7.5, which is 21.5. Okay, so that's my, 21.5. So that's my integral here. Easy enough, right? So all you're doing is using the area formulas that you already know from your previous math career. This is not always how we're going to be finding integrals, but this is how we're going to start out. Okay, the only thing here is just make sure you pay close attention to the boundaries. That's the only thing that might trip you up. We'll do one more before we move on. Okay, here's our second example. So we want the integral now from -4 to 9. So -4 is here, 9 is all the way down here. Okay, so we're going to split up my integral, and a couple different ways you could split this up. There's not more than one, or there is more than one right way to do this, rather. But you're going to want to use vertical lines to split it up usually. Okay, so this would be equal to the integral from -4 to 1 of f of x dx plus the integral from 1 to 3 f of x dx plus the integral from 3 to 9 f of x dx. Okay, right, so I just split it up into my 3 pieces that I drew here, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, you may be thinking it's like you don't need to write this out, this particular step, to solve the problem, but these bounds are a common source of error for students, so it's good practice to just get used to like writing them out, since this is the first time you're using this notation. So no, not essential to solve the problem, but helpful to learn the notation, which is part of what we're doing here. Okay, so notice my first piece is just a rectangle, right? And it's a rectangle of base 5, height 3. So that's going to be base times height, 5 times 3. I'm going to skip that middle piece because that's a weird shape. We're going to come back to it. My right hand integral from 3 to 9 is a right triangle, right? And it's got base 6, height 5. So 1/2 times 6 times 5. Okay. For this guy, we're going to use the area of a trapezoid formula. So area of a trapezoid is 1/2 b1 plus b2 times the height. The two bases are the two different length sides here, and then the height is going to be horizontal in all these examples if you draw a trapezoid like that. Okay, so what this would look like in our case is 1/2 times 3 plus, so that's my first base, my second base is 5, and then times the height, which is 2. Okay. Notice I could have also split that up into a triangle and a rectangle if you don't like that, but we're going to see this trapezoid formula again in a really a lesson in the near future. Okay. Then I'm just going to simplify. On the AP exam, you could just leave all this, but Delta Math wants you to simplify. So I get 15 plus 8 plus 15, which gives me 38 is my solution. Okay. So go ahead and jump into these. Again, you're going to have an easy time with them. This is much easier compared to some of the stuff we were doing at the end of the last unit. As always, come back to the video or reach out with questions if you're stuck.